Hey everyone! Well, I'm here to talk about The Raid 2, or also known as The Raid Berandal. And before I get into that, I have to talk about the previous movie, The Raid Redemption. And I have to say, it is one of the best action films I've seen in a long time. It's bloody, it's gory, and my god, the action scenes are awesome. I do like almost all the characters, but there's two that really stand out to me. It's the main character's brother, and Mad Dog. Oh my god, the guy who played Mad Dog was great. Mad Dog is one of my favorite characters in a long time. Even though he's short and the main character's brother towers over him, hell, everyone's taller than Mad Dog, but the very second you see him, you're like, holy shit, this guy is psychotic, he's insane, he's intimidating, I don't want to fuck with the guy. Once you see him fight, man, he fights brutally, and he does this for fun. He makes it a sport. He wants to fight everyone one-on-one. In the final fight scene, it's the main character and his brother fighting against Mad Dog. Yes, Mad Dog needs two people, two kick-ass people to take him on. That's how badass Mad Dog is. And the final fight scene is extremely long and it's glorious. I love this final fight scene. It's one of my favorite fight scenes in a long time. I did have a couple problems with the movie, but one of the problems is not the movie's fault. It's mostly mine. Is because I watched the movie Dredd before I saw The Raid Redemption, and Dredd is a very good movie. It is kick-ass, and I hope they make a sequel to it. I think they are, but I'm not entirely 100% sure on that, but I think they are. The reason why I have a problem is because Dredd and The Raid Redemption basically have the same story. You have the law enforcement trying to take down the drug lord or the gangster boss of this huge apartment complex, and they have to go floor by floor, defeating wave after wave of enemies just to reach the top. Yeah, it does sound like a video game plot basically, but honestly, that is the plot of both Dredd and The Raid Redemption. And because I saw Dredd right before I saw The Raid Redemption, I don't fully appreciate The Raid as much as I should. But I believe both movies should be watched if you haven't seen either one, because Dredd is really good, The Raid Redemption is really good. Just see it if you haven't. So now on to The Raid 2. This movie is the Dark Knight of the Raid series. I am serious. It really is like the Dark Knight of the Raid series. Everything's amplified by 1,000. The action scenes are more brutal than before. The blood and gore and the practical effects, the CGI, it's really good. Oh my god. The fight scenes. The very big improvement from the previous movie is that all the fight scenes take place in different settings. And the thing about The Raid Redemption, it takes place in the apartment complex, but the problem is that almost every single room and hallway looks the exact same. It's like in the slums, it's dirty, it's disgusting, it's the same shade of green and grays and browns. So the setting doesn't change at all. It's basically looks the exact same thing. But the only reason why the movie was still interesting from beginning to end, and yeah, it's non-stop action for 2 hours, is because everyone fights differently. There are some people who like to fight with hand-to-hand. There are some people who like to kick a lot. There are some people who like to throw people around or use the environment. And some people like to use guns, and some people like to use machetes. So at least that was refreshing to see, and I'm glad about that. Without any of that, then it would have been very repetitive, it would have been boring. But here, not only do you see different fighting styles, but you see different environments, and I'm happy about that. This feels like a live-action Street Fighter, a live-action Tekken video movie, and yeah, it looks very good. And I really like how everyone uses the environments. You see people fight in a warehouse, people fight in a nightclub, strip club, the prison, the restaurant, in a car, out in the streets. This is really good, and I like how everyone uses the environment. In the restaurant even, the main character was using dishes, pots and pans, even the knives, cooking knives. Hell, he used the grill to burn a guy. I'm not going to show what this guy looks like in the end, but trust me, the makeup effect is really good, and I cringed throughout this entire movie because of the mixture of the CGI, the practical effects, the blood effects, the violence, and seeing broken limbs and people's throats getting ripped open, and the sound effects, all that mixed in together made me cringe throughout this entire movie. I was like, oh, that gotta hurt, oh, that gotta hurt. Seriously, it's like watching a rated R version of Batman Arkham Asylum. Seriously, the combat, if this was a video game, game. It would be like the Batman Arkham Asylum, except in the Jet Li's Rise to Honor, if anybody played that game. And yeah, the combat would be Y for countering and all that stuff, or triangle, 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 triangle on the PlayStation controller. You know, in the Batman games where every time you defeat a guy, you hear the bone crunching, like the neck breaks or the arm breaks, but they all end up unconscious. Well, in here, everyone ends up dead. So when you see an arm getting broken, it's really broken. It's twisted off and all that stuff. Even the legs. Oh my god. It was so hard to watch, but I can't look away because it looks so awesome. Yes, it's one of those movies where you really want to look away because it sounds so bad. It looks so bad, but it just looks so good. So, yeah, the fight scenes are brutal, and I love the cinematography in this. It was very good in the previous movie, but here, it's really improved a lot. I mean, there are some shots I really like. For example, in the prison fight, people are fighting in the mud, and there was this long-ass take, a one-shot take, where the camera zooms around everyone fighting each other. You see the main character, you see the guy he's trying to help out fighting other people, you see guards killing the prisoners, you see the prisoners killing the guards, you see the prisoners trying to escape and the sniper guy shoots them down. This shot is one of my favorites. I really like it. And not just that. Later on, you see people getting slammed onto the floor or slammed onto the table with their heads slamming onto the table. And not just that, the camera follows their actions. So when you see one of these guys running on top of this table and then jumping through the window and slamming onto the floor, it's like the camera follows that guy along. I love that. I really do. And even though this camera, there's a bit of shaky cam, at least you can tell what's going on. Almost everyone's wearing different kind of clothing, so you can tell who's who. This movie is 2.5 hours long, so it's like The Raid, which is 2 hours long, but with 30 minutes of dialogue. And you know what? The dialogue made it work, and I'm happy about that because there's not much character development or story in the previous movie. There's a little bit, but not that much. It mostly focuses on the main character and his brother, but it worked for the movie, and I like these two, but at the same time, I wanted more of the squad. I wanted to know who each and every one of these members of the squad is, but they don't delve into that much. You only know like 2 guys and they're crooked cops or something like that. I really wanted from the previous movie is that I thought it was going to be like a squad kind of movie, like, okay, these guys know they're in a shitty situation and they're trying to get out of it and survive. But they did that for the beginning part of the movie, but later on they get killed off one by one very quickly, and in the end there's only a couple survivors. I kind of didn't like that about the movie. But for what it's trying to tell, the story about the main character and his brother, yeah, that worked, and I was okay with that. And here, it focuses more on the main character, and yeah, some of the characters from the previous movie are back, but I'm not going to tell what they do because some of it is pretty shocking of what happened to them. The main character, if you don't like him that much in the previous movie, you might like him a bit more here because I thought he did a very good job. I really like this guy. The story is that he is trying to go undercover because his family is probably at risk after the events of what happened in the previous movie, and I think this movie takes place like a couple of hours after that. The main character has to go undercover and he has to go to the prison because of a son of a gangster lord is in the prison, and he thought he's going to be in there for a couple months, but it turns out to be years. So he hasn't seen his family in years. So this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because there's no action involved, no killing, nada. There's no blood. So what happens is the guy finally gets out of prison and finally has a chance to talk to his family after not hearing from them for years. So he calls his wife on the phone, and then he hears his child laughing and playing in the background. So he tells his wife to hold the phone around the area of where his child is playing so he can hear the child's laughter. For the next 30 seconds to a minute, you just hear nothing but the sounds from his cell phone, which is the child laughing and playing around, and the guy is closing his eyes, just listening to the sound, and he's at peace, he's at zen, he's relieved to finally hear his family again after so many years. I thought this was well done. This is one of my favorite scenes. I am so happy about that. And everything else is very good too, but I really like these quiet moments. So, the fight scenes. Yeah, they are very good, but there's 2 characters I really like in this movie. It's Hammer Girl and Baseball Bat Boy. Baseball Bat Boy kind of reminds me of the baseball bat guy from Rival Schools, and yes, I want to play Rival Schools again. Why didn't they make a next-gen version of this? Why it's not on PS2, PS3, PS4? Why not? Come on, Rival Schools would have been awesome. At first, I thought, oh my god, he's emo, he's wearing a hoodie, and his hairstyle, he looked like the guy from Fall Out Boy, but he kicks ass ass. I love his fighting style. He is exactly like the baseball bat guy from Rival Schools. He beats people up with his metal baseball bat. He breaks people's limbs up. He knocks people on the head. Hell, he uses a baseball. He tosses it up in the air and swings it at a guy's head, bashing him in the head, and then swings it again to bash a guy in the spine. So, oh my god, this guy is awesome. But Hammer Girl is my most favorite character. She is a sexy girl, and she wears sunglasses, and the sunglasses almost never falls off her face, so which is kind of cool. And not just that, she fights with two hammers. You know the hammer fight from Old Boy where he's going through the hallway and just beating guys up with a hammer? Well, picture that with a sexy hot girl wearing sunglasses, using two hammers, and it's extremely brutal. Oh my god, the way she uses these hammers. I thought she's just gonna knock people on the head with the blunt side of the hammer. No, she just doesn't do that, no. She is scary. She grabs people's throats and rips them off. She cuts people's arms off and all that stuff. Oh my god, she tears people apart and then she hammers them on the head. Wow. And then you finally see the awesome fight with her and Baseball Bat Boy versus the main character, and to me this is the best fight scene in the whole movie because it's one of those rare occasions where you see two people helping each other trying to take out the other guy, because you don't really see that much in this movie. In the previous movie, at least the squad is helping each other out when they're together, but here, because the guy is going solo, he takes on armies. He takes on 20 to 30 people all by himself, and the thing is, all these 20 to 30 people, they only send like one guy at a time at him. Why do you do that? You don't see one guy just grabbing him on the arm while the other guy tries to punch him or anything. No, they don't do that. Yes, you see a couple dog piles, but that's way after the fights. I don't know why people don't take advantage of that. So when you finally see Hammer Girl and Baseball Bat Boy coordinating their attacks and then fighting him, that was very good. I really liked that. The fight scene was kind of short though, but then again, it was exhausting. Every fight was exhausting. So after the fight ends, you're like, okay, let me take a break. Oh, good. So the guy's just gonna walk. He's just gonna talk. Okay, I'm good. Let me take a breather. So yeah, even though the fight scenes kind of felt short to me, but that's only because I wanted more of the Hammer Girl and Baseball Bat Boy. I want to know more about them because there's a scene where the girl, I think she's deaf because the guy was doing sign language to her. I'm like, oh, at least you know something about the girl and the relationship of her and the boy. You don't know if they're boyfriend, girlfriend, or brother and sister, or husband and wife, or just friends. You don't know much about that. You want to know though. Yeah, I was kind of sad that they were only in it for 10 minutes max, and that's mostly due to the action scenes. The gangster son was good. I really liked him. I honestly thought he was going to be one of those wimpy characters that you see in so many movies, like, oh, he's trying to be like his father, he's never going to be like his father, he's going to be a wimp. Not exactly. He can hold his own, and I actually respect that about him. He knows that everyone respects his father way more than him, but he's trying to show that he can be like his father, so he can be intimidating. He can actually fight if he has to, so that was pretty good. I like that. That was refreshing to see. And I really like the guy's bodyguard. He was awesome too. I wanted to see more of him. He even kind of reminds me of Jaka from the previous movie. Then you get to the final fight scene of the movie, which is really long, and the guy has two knife things, those blade sickle things, that the same weapon that the guy used in Taken, the final fight scene between Liam Neeson and this guy on the boat. He uses those, but the problem is that before he finally uses them, he decides to have fun with the main character. Here's the thing, the main character went through hell. He defeated so many people in this warehouse trying to take on the gangster boss, then he takes on the Hammer Girl and the Baseball Bat Boy, and then he gets to the final fight, and this guy, he's got orders to kill the main character, no matter what, just kill him. But for some reason, he's like, oh no, we're gonna do this for honor, for sport, so we're gonna be right next to each other and then land the first move or something like that. And then they engage in hand-to-hand combat, and then the guy gets his ass whooped, which makes no sense. This fight scene goes on forever, and it's not boring, it's not repetitive, but the problem is, I don't really care much about this bad guy. I don't care about much about this henchman. He decides to finally use the blade sickles after getting his ass whooped. Why? And by that time, he's already exhausted. Then he's like, oh, I'm very angry right now. I'm gonna use my blades. The thing is that the main character fought everyone, then got to this spot. He didn't even take a break, and then he is on equal grounds with the guy. And this takes place during the same day where a couple hours earlier, this guy kicked the main character character's ass within a minute. Seriously, what the hell? And then during the knife fight, which was pretty awesome, I have to admit, I was wondering, why didn't this guy use the knives in the beginning of the fight? Or better yet, why didn't this guy just shoot the guy? And here's the thing about this movie. This all could have been solved with a gunshot to the head or a bunch of bullets to the body. Why didn't they do that? Probably it's like Old Boy, where there's some kind of law in the country where it's very hard to get guns, but in the previous movie, almost every single criminal has guns. The only reason they decided not to use them is because either they ran out of ammo or they're so psychotic and they want to kill them with blades or their hands. That's the thing about this guy, or any of the henchmen in this warehouse. None of them fired a weapon at this guy. Why? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, you have this very long fight scene, and it is very good. It's bloody. And it takes place in the kitchen, and it is awesome, I have to admit, but at the same time, it's not as good as the Mad Dog fight scene, or not as good as a Hammer Girl and Baseball Bat Boy fight scene, but that's my opinion. So if anybody really likes the fight, at least that's good for you, but for me, I kind of wanted something more. I don't know much about this guy because he doesn't even say a word. Probably he spoke, but I didn't even hear him. I don't even know his name, nor do I care about him. I gotta talk about the ending. I'm not saying what happens, it's just that, to me, it kind of feels like a cliffhanger, but not exactly. It's one of those movies where you want to know exactly what happens after this, and you know it's going to be as said in the Raid 3, but the Raid 3 won't happen for a couple years because the director, he was exhausted and he wants to take a break from working on the Raid series for 2 to 3 years. And you know what? Bravo, man, you deserve the vacation, but my god, I want to see the Raid 3. But yeah, this movie is awesome. I really recommend it. And if you really love the first movie, go watch this one. I really recommend it. Probably in limited theaters right now because it's very hard to get showings. But if you can't find it anywhere, go get it on Blu-ray or DVD. I recommend it. It's one of the best action movies of the year so far. It's really, really good. So write down in the comments below if you've seen The Raid 2. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Did you like the previous movie? What are your favorite kung fu action movies? What are your favorite bloody action movies? Let me know. And to tell you the truth, I'm kind of happy about seeing this movie because of The Expendables 3. I really love the Expendables series. I love the bloody action movies that's like the 80s and 90s. I'm really happy about that, and that's why I like The Raid, because it feels like an old movie from the 80s and 90s, but it's actually very good. For The Expendables 3, I heard it's going to be PG-13, which I'm very, very disappointed about. I'm hoping it's a lie. I'm hoping that Sylvester Stallone will end up saying, "Oh no, it's not PG-13, it's rated R. You're going to see a lot of blood, you're going to see tits and all that stuff, so yeah." So yeah, I'm really hoping The Expendables 3 is not PG-13. If it is, at least The Raid 2 gives me all the violent, bloody carnage that I need in the movie. So I'm happy about that. So if you like this video, please click the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, there's an annotation here for subscribing. So until next time, guys, see you later, and thank you for watching.